Chatsen is great. I love Chatsen.
Today we're going to be looking at a video called Internet Culture is Freaking Nauseating. That's me adding a little censor there to keep it PG for YouTube. I want to make money. This video is made by a creator called Blessing Stranded. You should go watch that video. I've left it linked in the description. I'd appreciate it if you did, so you can be sure that I'm not misrepresenting any of his points. I'd also like to ask that you don't comment on the video unless you have something constructive to say. I know for the vast majority of you who are respectful and normal and cool and chill even, that might sound patronizing, and for that I apologize. But some of you do need to hear that, so sorry and thank you and you're welcome. Okay, so just to start off, I actually like this video. I think it's a good video. It's thoughtful, it's nuanced, and it makes some great points, ones that I think represent the perspectives of a lot of people out there. It offers some salient critiques of tribalism and toxicity, and the conclusion of the video is a call for empathy during online engagement, which we love to see it. We love it. So if I think it's a good video, what are we doing here? Well, despite the good points, there are a few things that I do disagree with, and today I want to provide some counterpoints to those arguments and just give my perspective and thoughts. Not that anyone asked, but I don't know, I thought it'd be fun to try something a little different than what we usually do on the channel. Dialectics, that's the new direction I want to take these response videos, towards dialectics. If you don't know what that means, check out this picture here and then substitute these in for that. Hegel would have loved this chart. He loved—
God, why is Noah such a theory nerd? We can save him, chat, okay? We can fix him. We can do it, all right?
Loved to text. All right, without further ado, let's go. The first argument from this video that I want to look at concerns the use of the term incel. Blessing Stranded makes the case that the term is overused, sensationalized, and weaponized to the point where it's becoming unhelpful and counterproductive. While he acknowledges the real harm done, the horrors created by the quote-unquote real incels of the world, specifically citing some spree shootings undertaken by self-proclaimed incels, to him it seems that the majority of the time the term incel is being used is as a dig towards frustrated men who very likely do not deserve that label and might be helped if we didn't use it on them.
I can't count the number of times I've seen a guy vent about something, even if just briefly, and instead of people trying to help them, they just try making sure that guy isn't thinking about going on a killing spree. Like, how the fuck did you manage to take things from a 1 or 2 all the way to 1,000?
Now, he makes what I think is a really good point in this section about how this label weaponizes the patriarchal expectations of men and sex against them and shames them when they don't adhere to that expectation.
Not to mention that the abuse of this word upholds the exact same ideals that are criticized constantly about masculine culture, things that I myself don't like either, such as sex for men being perceived as one of the highest status symbols, because I've seen—
I want to read these comments. I can only speak for myself. I was an incel for a long time. I just wanted to be loved and have someone to talk to. They weren't targeting my type of recruitment like they are now. I had childhood trauma. I was bullied in school and I was afraid of rejection. I was kind of programmed by the church to save it for marriage. I didn't agree, but it made me feel like every date I had to potentially be the one, which made me a terrible date. I'm scared I'm turning into an incel. By straight up definition, I'm an incel, as no woman wants anything to do with me. But I'm not angry, except for anger at myself for being so unattractive. Mostly I'm just void of all hope. I don't want to be this way, but it's clear that I'll never find someone. I know a woman looks at me and immediately can tell I'm not good enough for her. And then there's this one. I was rejected by women all the way up through and after I graduated high school. I was definitely what people are calling an incel these days. It was a miserable experience. I never once had the urge to put a gun on my classmates. I've never once had the urge to drive my car into a crowd of people. What I did have the urge to do was make personal improvements so I could feel better about myself.
Online the way this damages men. The concept of immediately poking fun at a man's sex life, regardless of how successful it actually is, feels weirdly juvenile.
Being a man that has sex does not preclude one from being a misogynist. That's true, go off. Now, where we start to run into some issues, though, is when Blessing Stranded gives us an example of this wrongful labeling.
As a woman, I've also been rejected many times. This is so key, dude. This is so fucking key. I think there's this idea, and it's like, I get it. I get why it happens. The problem is that there's a lot of problems. I want to cover one. Okay. I don't want to claim to have like the answers to a complicated sociological problem, but I want to say one thing that makes me really sad. There is, an insecurity that, the red pillars target in men, right? That, hey, you're lonely as a man and you experience loneliness as a man, but guess what? that's because of women. That's women's fault. Because obviously women never get rejected. But the sad thing is like, yeah, rejection just kind of sucks. And unfortunately, there's lots of women that get rejected. It's that the problem is that like in the red pillar universe, there is only there are 3 types of people. Okay? And only 3 types of people get addressed. There are the women. We will come back to this later. This is Wimeo. This is group 1. This is group 2. There are the Chads. These are like the sex havers. And then there are the virgin betas. Okay? So obviously these 2 groups are both men. What they fail to recognize is that within this category of women, it's only extremely hot women. I feel like there's a lot of like the people that fall for like this stuff that forget about the fact that like, I feel like there's a lot of incels that become incels because they ignore the fact that like unconventionally attractive women or conventionally unattractive women also are dealing with the same thing you're dealing with. You know what I mean? Not hot. Obviously, beauty is subjective, etc., etc. I'm using these as shorthand because I have to write with my mouse. Okay? Like, the problem is that incels don't even think about these women because these women are not women they want to fuck. It's just these women that they want to fuck. So they just ignore the fact that these women exist, and then they have like this burning hatred for the women that they think exist as like a whole or like the major group or whatever. And when you try and approach incels and you tell them like, I don't know if you guys have read some of these like incel threads that are like posted on like our red pill or whatever the fuck. And you talk to them. Or you read the post or you read their commentary, they will specifically say, no women want to talk to me. It's not like just because I'm unattractive, I don't take care of my skin, I don't dress myself, I don't go to the gym, women don't want to talk to me. And then people will respond and they'll say, have you tried dating unattractive women? Have you tried dating women that also don't take care of the way that they look? And they'll be like, why would I want to do that? And it's like, okay. I feel like there is a bit of a disconnect here. There's a tiny bit of a disconnect. Yeah, they want hot women to lower their standards, but the men themselves refuse to lower theirs. Yeah. If someone has some of the posts that I'm talking about and you guys have seen them, please post them in chat so we can read them out together. Femcel is like the female version of incel? Not quite. I feel like femcel is like a little different, in my opinion. I feel like incel means something different than what femcel means. I don't feel like it's just, I don't think it's a purely synonymous or whatever. Okay, let's get back.
He presents the internet's response to a 12-year-old who made some inflammatory comments on his Instagram story after a breakup.
A great example of this are all the people panicking over a 12-year-old saying dumb shit after a breakup, with presumably his older brother calling him an incel in this screenshot, which is insane, and people quoting the tweet with all these think pieces. I'm not saying you should find this funny or amusing, but he is literally 12. People acting heartbroken about how it starts so young, as if 12-year-olds aren't known for saying the most outlandish shit, including racism and jokes about the Holocaust. And I'm not saying no one finds that distasteful either. I don't exactly find it amusing when little kids say racist shit to be edgy, but that's what a lot of 12-year-olds do, and we know this. It's why no one makes think pieces and dramatically worded sentences about how these are the kinds of kids that become cops and start killing black people, or that they'll grow up to become neo-Nazis. Now maybe if a 12-year-old went on a rant about why certain groups of people need to be killed or assaulted, or the things he says seem very obviously passed down to the adults in his environment, then I can understand, and I would agree. But that's not what's happening here.
The caption of this story reads, "Don't fall in love, all bitches are cheating, lying whores." This post is framed by Blessing Stranded as just edgy, distasteful, dumb, and outlandish.
When in reality, it's just based. It's actually just true. Grug in chat.
character for anything another 12-year-old might say, but calling him an incel for a post like this is to him an unfair and extreme leap. Now, first off, I do want to point out that the majority of the posts that he shows aren't actually calling the kid an incel. The original post calls what he says incel shit, but doesn't label him as an incel directly. One person says that they're sad for girls who have to experience the extreme misogyny on display here. One advocates the kids be taught about breakups in schools, another is concerned. Another still is worried about how young the kid is to be saying things like this. These posts are all critical of the content in the original post, but the majority of them never actually call him an incel. This distinction between writing concerns about his rhetoric and outright calling him an incel is important, because the unfair labeling aspect of the latter is what Blessing Stranded takes issue with.
And the word incel is a great example of how people lose the plot. It used to genuinely terrify me back in like 2015. Because the only time you saw that word being used is when the person legitimately fit the description. But now the word gets handed out like CDs in the early 2000s. I see that shit now and it means absolutely
Honestly,
nothing.
true.
It fucking reeks of a chronically online individual. I've literally never seen a well-adjusted human being with an actual life use that word unironically, with the overwhelming majority not even knowing what it means. It's genuinely insane to me that we have a word where the spectrum on one end has literal serial killers, and on the other, there's guys that said something you didn't like. And then there's everything in fucking between.
But
I
I
find
mean,
this
like-
point a bit weird.
But I mean, like, that's just everything on the internet, I guess. Like, you know, like we did that with the word triggered. Triggered actually used to mean something, you know? Like, look, this is the problem. And I'm not trying to roast you. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to show, like, how language is just fucked as a whole. Like, no roasting, no roasting. Actually based, I was super triggered when incel started changing meaning. You yourself are guilty of using words that have changed in meaning significantly. Triggered used to be a word that was actually used in, like, therapy sessions, in diagnostic sessions, in anything relating to basically PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So like people who have triggers, the easy example to go to is a war veteran having a trigger to loud noises. So they will feel triggered when they hear something that's very loud. So like, what is it called? Fireworks or whatever, right? That is a trigger to them. They have now been triggered. And now trigger just means like something that kind of upsets you, you know? We have a bit of a waffler in chat. So that makes it okay? Bitch, where the fuck did I say that? When did I say that? When did I say that? Literally when? When? That's a whole new sentence, man. Literally all I'm discussing is like the euphemism treadmill. Literally all I'm discussing is just like, hey, this happens with words all the time. At no point have I said it's okay and we should let it keep happening. Just pointing out what you're leaving out. You get invited to a lot of parties. You seem like a fun guy. You seem like a cool person to hang out with. So anyways, guys, I love waffles. Oh, so you hate pancakes. No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't even say that even a little, actually. It's crazy. All right, let's get back to the video.
Weird, because sure, on the one hand, we can never say definitively whether or not this kid is an incel, as in actually an incel, posting on the forums and self-identifying as such. But what we can do is look at what he is saying. And this post here is an incel-ass post. He is making an incel argument, one that is foundational to their worldview, to their
pancakes
politics.
and waffles.
He starts out,
Does this make me a bad person?
Yes, you are the worst version of yourself. Just prompting with 5 months.
With a negative generalization about the deviant nature of all women, all bitches are cheating, lying whores, and with that claim in mind, he goes on to warn you, as a boy or a man, to stay away from them, don't fall in love, or be celibate, you might say. While a self-identifying incel might take that first claim, that all women are whores, and follow it up by concluding that that's why they'll always pick Chad over you, you'll never win, so don't even try, or whatever. The boy's conclusion that men should stay away from women adheres to this same logic. The logic of explicitly resenting all women and adjusting your behavior according to that principle. Elliot Rogers, the incel spree shooter who Blessing Stranded later cites as an example of what a real incel looks like, his manifesto was filled with this sort of rhetoric. In its final pages, Roger writes, "Women are like a plague. They don't deserve to have any rights. Their wickedness must be contained in order to prevent future generations from falling to degeneracy. Women are vicious, evil, barbaric animals, and they must be treated as such." Statistically speaking, yes, it is extremely unlikely that the kid in the original post will go on an incel killing spree. But the next incel that does, he will be using this logic as justification. That's what makes it, in my opinion, okay for someone to describe this post as an incel-ass post, because saying something like this is a stepping stone to that end point of becoming an incel. Not all misogynists are incels, no, but all incels are misogynists. And that process begins with statements like the one that this 12-year-old posted. The plea to stop labeling every misogynist as an incel is valid, I think. But that shouldn't prevent us from being able to draw connections between misogyny and inceldom. If we're not allowed to identify and criticize incel rhetoric until the bodies start dropping, then we're in big trouble, in my opinion. Alright, on to the next point. So this one concerns how Blessing Stranded feels that we ought to deal with sensational online cult type figures. He gives a few examples and then eventually lands on Andrew Tate. The argument he makes with Tate is that the best way to deal with someone like him is to stop giving him airtime.
I am so fucking tired of seeing the internet's new Donald Trump and hearing all these god-awful think pieces and tantrums over his popularity. He is the perfect example of sensationalism. Every time I think he's gone for good, he's forced back onto my feed all over again. This was easily one of the most cringe interactions I've ever had to sit through. And y'all gave her 4 million for this weak-ass response. 4. His entire brand is that he's the forbidden messenger that the world is out to get. That he's the one that will lead the revolution of masculinity against modern society who seeks to destroy it. And then what do y'all do? Instead of speaking on him once or twice, then never again, you continuously feed into that image, crying over every last thing he does, making him more popular, spreading his message even wider, and giving his claims more validity to his audience. You are complaining about the same thing that you are directly contributing to. If being hated for the truth or having the balls to say,
Oh, I hate this argument. I hate this argument that if you call out people you don't like or people you dislike or whatever, you are contributing to the problem. That only applies to people who are small figures, by the way, chat. So I saw a tweet the other day and I actively, and I'm still going to choose not to talk about it or not to give that person any clout. But do you guys know those people who do skits, but the skits aren't funny and they're just annoying? Very big energy. Oh, this guy has like 1 million on YouTube. Never mind. This guy's enormous. So it actually didn't matter. The JLP, is that his name? No, it's Awaken with JP. That type of comedy. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if we can find like some pure garbage. This channel. Oh God, I fucking hate this channel. Look at this. This type of content.
Yeah, I eat meat, but I identify as a vegan.
I think that factually makes you not a vegan.
Excuse me? I'm just as vegan as any other vegan is. Don't be a bigot. Actually, that's just how I used to be. Because not only am I vegan, but now, in fact, I only eat vegetables.
Did you know that steak is made out of meat?
No, it's not, fascist. I identify this as tofu, so it's made out of soy.
I don't know if that's 100% true. Actually, I don't think that's any more than 0% true.
It's my truth. Becoming vegan has dramatically shifted my health because you're only eating clean, pure foods that push you into dangerously high levels of alkalinity. Meat's actually really bad for you. It makes you acidic, clogs your arteries, it has parasites in it, it makes you a Nazi sympathizer. I would never touch this stuff.
How long have you been a vegan?
47 years.
How old are you?
42.
Makes sense. And what do you have there?
I start every morning with a kale smoothie. It's tons of chlorophyll, vitamins, and minerals.
You know, earlier I ran a scientific analysis of your kale.
Sometimes they come out really thick.
And what we found is that your kale is nothing but beef.
No, it's not.
Scientifically speaking, it is.
Why do we have to focus on the science of it all the time? There's so much more than science. Like, your scientific analysis is just a social construct.
It's actually a scientific construct.
That's not my truth.
Just out of curiosity, do you know the difference between your imagination and reality?
What do you mean by difference?
What's that you're drinking now?
Oh, this is beet juice. It's super good for you. It has very high levels of the wetness that comes from beet.
That was only 2 minutes of the 4. That we only watched the first half of the skit. It's a straw man of a straw man. It's the same joke over and over for 5 minutes. Yeah. Are you lying? That was at least 25 minutes. This is always the thing that drives me crazy about this guy's skits. They're so boring. They last way longer. Please, I can't finish. If I finish this video, I'm going to die on stream. And then I'm going to get banned. And this isn't like his old content. This was posted 10 days ago. And do you want to know the worst part, chat? I'll show you the worst part. How long have you been a vegan? 47 years. How old are you? 42. He loaded this video with comedy and truth. So anyways, paid comment. The username was Truth Doctrine. So I saw one of these guys. When I talk about like unfunny skit people, or like people who do skits but they're not funny at all, I saw one on my Twitter feed the other day, and it was a skit from some fucking loser, some no-life fucking piece of shit who was making a skit about Pokimane and Kick. And the entire skit is like, it's in this exact kind of format where it's like they're pretending to be Pokey, and the skit is them saying like, oh my god, I would never go to Kick because I'm so much better than Kick, and blah, 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 blah. Literally that. Wearing a wig, because that's it. Male comedy is when you wear a wig and make fun of women. That's it. And then you say the same gender joke over and over and over again. Anywho, I didn't watch it on stream because I thought I saw that their page it had 1,400 followers. So I was like, well, I don't want to give this guy any more attention, right? Because like if he only has 1,400 followers on Twitter and this tweet didn't really get that many views, I don't want to quote tweet it and like get engagement because I don't want to give this guy any attention at all. Even a little. But honestly, now that I'm looking at it, I don't want to for sure. I was gonna insult him right now, but he has 1 million subs and his videos get the same views that mine do. So actually, I think it's fine. Actually, this is hilarious. So now we're gonna show it on stream. Actually, because it's funny as shit. So I do think there are times where you shouldn't engage with discourse. So this was something that as you can see, I bookmarked it because I wanted to see what would happen to the tweet. I have a lot of tweets like that where I don't want to like it because obviously I don't want to put it on people's feeds. and I don't want to give it more traction. And I didn't quote tweet it because I didn't want to give it more traction. But now that I see that this guy fell off and he's not coming back, it was this shit. Sorry, let me add some.
I have that. Trust me, I am not poor. Like, it's not about getting $10 million because I have that. Trust me, I am not poor like you guys. It's just because I'm good as I am. Not being as poor as you guys, you know? Like, why would I compromise my morals and ethics just for more money? I already have money, guys. I am not poor like you. Like, I would understand if one of you guys, one of my viewers, were to take it because you need the money. You are clearly poorer than me. It's just cringe. I can't, like, ill. Can someone put this into words? Can someone put this into words that a person who is not poor would understand? I can't speak poor. It's so embarrassing.
He's so fucking stupid. He didn't even make his joke make sense.
Ill. Can someone put this into words? Can someone put this into words that a person who is not poor would understand?
He meant to say a person who is poor could understand. God, he's... Oh my God. Pick a struggle, man. Not funny and not smart. Jesus, bro.
I can't speak poor. It's so embarrassing. Like, it's just cringe is what it is. It's super, super cringe that he got a $100 million deal and I had nothing. Like,
So initially when I saw this, I thought this was like a new comedian that was like maybe emerging. And so I actively chose not to respond to it because I think as a content creator, you do have a responsibility not to accidentally promote people or promote channels that are smaller than you because you're giving them traction, right? It's okay to make fun of Andrew Tate because it's out of your control how big that creator is, right? But if I see like a YouTube channel with like 5,000 subscribers, I should do my best to not talk about it, right? And that's why I didn't talk about this the first time. Now I realize it's completely fine for me to make fun of this guy because he has 1 million subs and his videos get 15K 15K views. Day in the life of a Discord admin, 14K views 8 days ago. I quit working for Mr. Beast, 13K views 4 weeks ago. He has, oh God, I see. Okay, so he gets like one video that maybe starts doing okay. This one got 120K views, and then he does it again and it performs worse. It's botted subs for sure. Whatever it is, it's pathetic. Holy fuck, stop paying your internet bill, get a job, yeah. Oh, Lord. Anyways, takes him 3 months to get 100K. It's just sad. It's just sad. So all of this was in response to this. I think it's really silly to say, I'm tired of people amplifying Andrew Tate. My brother in Christ. My brother in Christ. Tate is so ginormous on the internet. He shows up on Aiden Ross's fucking stream. He shows up on all of everyone's TikTok feeds. You, like, one YouTuber making a video talking about everything that's bad about Andrew Tate is good, actually. It's actually good.
Say something is a key part of someone's identity. Your best bet is to literally ignore them. As in, do not give them the attention that they need.
So this is an anti-platforming argument, as in platforming the views of someone like Andrew Tate lends them some sense of validity. It exposes larger audiences to his ideas, inevitably adding more people to his fan base and not solving any of the underlying issues. The best and only real solution here is to stop talking about him altogether. I actually agree with this argument in some contexts. Like a while back when Sneeko brought the neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes onto his stream and neither Sneeko nor any of his guests were equipped to adequately challenge his views, this ended up exposing thousands of young people to a bunch of racist arguments without being presented the vitally necessary counterarguments. It normalized having a Nazi in the room saying Nazi stuff on a massive platform. Okay, so quick editor's note. I realized that eventually Destiny came out of that stream and argued with Fuentes a whole bunch, and that was, probably a good thing. But pretty much everything leading up to that point was an uncritical presentation of Nick's views. This is bad, in my opinion, because it grants Nazi views an undue level of legitimacy for a civilized society. Bringing it back to Andrew Tate, though, the trouble with applying the platforming argument to him is that even if everyone talking about him were to stop criticizing him forever, that wouldn't make him go away. Unlike Fuentes, Tate is massively influential online. He was, and still is, going viral every day. His rhetoric is showing up in elementary school classrooms. He was the most Google search term for a while, I think, or the third most, I don't know. Way too high on the chart. The reason why any of these commentators or journalists are even talking to or about him is because of that massive online presence. In the case of the videos he shows of Hassan and Vice News talking about Tate, I think this is a context in
The Vice News one is crazy to bring up. The Vice News one, it's literally an interview where they push him and they say like, hey, what do you think about this footage of you saying that you like to beat women? And he's like, I didn't say that. And they're like, you didn't say this. And then it's like a TikTok of him saying, beat women a lot, as much as you can. He's like, that's not me. That must be someone else. You're thinking of someone else. That's not me. Like, it's crazy to even say that Vice's documentary. It's insane.
Platforming makes sense. The reason for that is Tate's prominence at the time, as well as the fact that these videos were effective in countering Tate's views. This was and is necessary, given the way that these views have proliferated online and offline, caused real-world harm. If Blessing Stranded feels that these videos are somehow inadequate in challenging Tate's views, or if he feels that their ultimate contribution is spreading those views uncritically, I would be interested in hearing why. If it doesn't, then it seems like the argument he's making here is that after we've talked about harmful figures once or twice, we shouldn't anymore, full stop, which to me seems like it would cause a great deal of trouble in the long term. If freaks like Tate end up dominating the entire internet, what message is that sending to the people most likely to fall for his trickery? How many millions will be captured into his rhetoric, and how much real-world harm will this cause? I don't know, but it'd be a lot, in my opinion. The last thing I want to talk about on this point is the way that Blessing Stranded actually makes a pro-platforming argument. He cites the trend of joke tweets that share sensational posts and add intentionally unrelated commentary.
In general, the best way to handle a lot of shit is to simply ignore it, or at least not feed into it. I don't know if y'all ever seen tweets where all the replies was just unrelated nonsense and basically everyone was ignoring the original poster. It's quite rare. But that to me feels like the ideal way to respond to someone saying dumb shit online. Instead of everybody getting riled up alongside with you, turn that post into a good unrelated laugh instead. But unfortunately, the majority of the internet seems to be allergic to the idea of ignoring things it doesn't like, and especially things it doesn't want to bring the wrong attention.
Listen, there are instances where this makes sense. Again, the post where, I'm sure everyone's seen it at this point. If you're not normal, or sorry, if you are normal and you don't have a Twitter, it's the coconut one. It's just this woman and she's breaking open a coconut so that she can enjoy the coconut water inside the coconut. And I guess her partner is recording her. And she finishes cracking the coconut open. She's like, okay, glug, 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 glug. It's so good. Here, you try some. And she flips the camera. And everyone's making fun of the way this guy looks. And it's like, dude, fuck off, man. Like, what purpose does this serve? It's like a couple that's happy and they're just showing off, like, their life on the internet and being happy, and you're feeling like you see this and you use it as an opportunity to be a piece of shit. Like, fuck off, man. In that front, I agree. On that front, I agree. Like, if you see something, you shouldn't immediately be try to be a negative person. I think if the other person is a piece of shit and they're actively using their platform to be a piece of shit, yeah, you can fucking insult them, huh? This is like, yeah, if I don't like sexual assault, if I ignore it, will it go away? It's like, it's fucking stupid.
Now, on first pass, these tweets might seem like they are ignoring the problem. They're not commenting on or responding to the original posts. They're turning it into something funny or positive with jokes and memes. none of which are related whatsoever to the original sentiments being expressed. However, by responding to the original posts in this way, these people are making a statement about them. They are sharing these posts with seemingly unrelated commentary, and the statement being made there is that the idea I'm sharing is so socially transgressive or absurd or unworthy of consideration that we can move past it and talk about something else. The debate has already been settled. This post sucks. So check out this crochet lion or whatever else. These posts often go viral, and the reason for that is that the people who share them understand and agree with the statement that they make, with their non-statement. The unrelated quote tweets on a post reading, "Ladies, can y'all really pay all of your bills without a man?" only goes viral because the communities that share it are already in agreement that the original post is dumb and bad. If everyone that saw this tweet was genuinely interested in debating the topic of ladies paying bills without a man, the unrelated meme thing wouldn't make any sense, and none of these posts would go viral. In promoting this approach to responding to criticism, Blessing Stranded is making a pro-platforming argument. These are a form of discourse. The people are not ignoring the original content, they are sharing it. They are exposing more people to the original idea. And unlike Hassan or Vice's videos about Andrew Tate, they are doing so without providing any meaningful counterargument. And to be clear here, I think that's okay. I'm not criticizing Blessing Stranded for liking these tweets. I like them too. I think they're funny and a refreshing form of internet criticism. But us liking them should not obscure the fact that that's what they are, internet criticism. That is how they function online. And that's okay, in my opinion. I think it's even maybe good. But this contradicts directly with the idea that the best way to solve problems is to stop talking about them. We need to argue about them. We love to argue. I love to argue. I will never log off. The last point I want to talk about today concerns the idea of call-out culture. Blessing Stranded makes a number of points against the idea of call-out culture, about how it's a losing battle and how it mostly ends up with creators just preaching to the choir, making content for their own audiences without accomplishing anything or changing any minds.
In today's age, you have a group of people that rely on call-out culture as a way to tackle all issues, trying to use that method against a group of people who are anti-culture. I won't say their hearts aren't in the right place, but how many times can your method fail before you decide to step out your box and think, maybe we should try something different? Instead of making even worse think pieces about a situation you have an inherent misunderstanding of due to a very intense bias. Both sides fail to understand that your ideology towards things like these only works amongst like-minded people. You are barely convincing anyone that leans more towards the ideologies you hate that they should change with these kinds of videos. It's really just circle jerk content served in a pretty package.
Dude, no, this guy is just like a both sideser. No, dude. Also, can we just agree and just like recognize for 2 seconds that there are actually people who do get de-radicalized? Like, most people who work regular jobs, who do normal shit, they don't have the time to figure out what exactly is wrong with everything in Matt Walsh's speech. What exactly is wrong with every single thing that, like, Candace Owens says? Why is Tim Pool wrong? Like, so for example, the people who watch Tim Pool's debate with Emma, and they are Tim Pool fans, right? There are probably lots of people who watched it and didn't even realize, like, the number of terrible things that Tim Pool did. Because Tim Pool did, like, 10 things that just didn't make any sense. Like, for example, when he pulls up the study about desistance rates for trans people, basically detransitioning rates, he doesn't read the rest of the paragraph in that wiki article that says, hey, these studies have been criticized. This review has been criticized because it's using DSM-3 and DSM-4 instead of DSM-5, which is not good. And 2 of these studies were actually conversion camps, not actual trans facilities. So if you are a clueless Tim Pool viewer and you're just watching it and you're just chilling, you have no idea that he's like manipulating garbage. And that's why Emma has no way to respond. It's because the information he's using is bad. There was a clip farm to show that for him to show his friends what people will defend when he shows them, and then he shows them some bullshit. I have no idea how Emma stayed calm during that entire time. Or even like the way that he responds to like her talking about the shooter or whatever. He doesn't correct her. He doesn't say like, he never at any point like admits some of this shit. You know what I mean? So if you're watching it and you have no idea, you're like, maybe you finish that Tim Pool interview and you're like, oh, this Tim Pool guy is pretty smart. The second anyone who knows anything about any of these topics and has the time and energy and desire to like actually go through and fact check this stuff will recognize that Tim Pool is just literally lying through half of it. He's lying through half of it. He's goalposting through half of it. He's not even in the same reality that Emma's in. I mean, so she calls him out and she says, you called that a hoax. And he goalposts like crazy. He's like, no. I didn't call the 10-year-old getting pregnant a hoax. I said that the media covered it in a way that was irresponsible. And I was saying that that's a hoax, that they were using it for their own political privilege and their own political gain. And then you watch the clip and he literally says, the child, the pregnant 10-year-old was raped by an immigrant. In his own clip, he is committing the hoax that he claims that liberal media is committing. He's taking a story and he's using it as an opportunity to push his political propaganda. But you wouldn't know that if you just watched Tim Pool. You know what I mean? You have to watch someone else who's willing to like sit down and actually break it down and actually be, you know what I mean? And most people are not interested in doing that, which is fine. I mean, most people have real lives and real things worth doing. So anyways, he also said that the child didn't get a kit, implying the whole thing was a hoax. Yeah, I mean, he was also hardcore implying that. He was like, oh, it's just weird that like they didn't get a kit. It's weird that they didn't get, who doesn't get a kit for their kid? You know what I mean? So anyways. Yeah.
Package for like-minded individuals to gobble up. Especially considering it is extremely common for people to seek out this type of content to help soothe the anger caused by interactions revolving around the same topic.
So there's a few points I want to bring up in response to this. Firstly, he states that the methods we're applying with these call-out videos are failing, and that we might be served by rethinking our approach. The problem with that, though, is that failure is a subjective term, one that is entirely dependent on what our goals are. One of Blessing Stranded's goals seems to be making content that changes people's minds and not just preaching to the choir. While he's making that point, he shows a few different videos on the screen as examples of this kind of preaching. So are these videos preaching to the choir? Well, in one sense, yes. Creators have audiences, and for that reason, bias will always play into the process of making content. If you look at the comment sections of any of these videos, you'll find people that do already agree with the content contained within them. That's the case for all of them. Mr. Beard, who goes by Ryan Beard now, FD Signifier, my video, Jake's video, and yes, with Matt Walsh, who he included in this group. But is that always a bad thing? Personally, I think it depends. In the case of Ryan's video, for example, you have a number of people in the comments who do agree with him, but there's more to that agreement than simply, I like this video because I agree with it. There seems to be a certain expression of joy that in Ryan's videos, their experiences are being represented, and from it, they know that they're not alone in their struggles against the harmful conservative influences in their lives, the ones that Ryan is criticizing. I just got kicked out of my religious, ultra-Republican school in the Midwest where I was getting taunted for being trans, and this video just gives me joy. Thanks. As someone who lives in a household surrounded by conservatives, it's so refreshing to hear someone speak so openly and confidently about their beliefs. I always feel put down and gaslit all the time when I express that I don't agree with the terrible bigotry that they spew on a day-to-day basis. It's hard not to doubt yourself having to put up with it. At my conservative family's house, and I just had a nightmare that I was outed and had to admit to being gay and non-binary. This video has definitely helped me stop stressing in case that is some weird prophetic dream. Calling it preaching to the choir has always been a sort of cynical way to frame the fact that online communities exist, that people congregate around creators whose beliefs they share and who feel represented by their content, but that doesn't automatically make what's being done in these spaces a waste of time. There is some real value in content beyond its ability to change people's minds, and I don't think we should dismiss that. But even if we're sticking to this definition of success, as in changing minds, there's plenty of evidence of that in these comment sections. From Ryan's video, I thought I was conservative until now. What have we done? The hypocrisy here is making me gag. I won't lie, Mr. Beard, I consider myself a moderate, but I lean slightly towards the conservative side of the spectrum. This video was actually very educational for me. I had heard the wrong side of the Potato Head story, and I never knew it was changed due to merely expanding their brand. I was always told that it was due to the Mr. being misogynistic. Thank you for educating a slight conservative.
And it's because there's a lot of conservatives that they thrive off of misinformation. They thrive off of misinformation, right? It's the same reason why I was so upset about everything relating to, not Dr. Disrespect, not Tim the Tap Man, the other guy. The guy who never has this, Nick Merckx. A lot of people have no idea why people are upset at Nick Merckx. There are a lot of people who think people are upset at Nick Merckx because he said stay away from the children and because people are groomers or whatever. Like, I think I quote tweeted it and I said, like, dude, you're engaging in like homophobic garbage or whatever. And there were so many people responding, okay, pedo, okay, groomer, okay, pedo. And it's like, dude, I'm sorry you have to find out this way. I'm the farthest thing from a pedophile, okay? I'm the farthest thing from a groomer. In fact, if you could get children away from me forever, that would be great. That would be great. I don't want those fucking petri dishes anywhere near me. All right? I'm good. I'm fully good. Thank you. If you have kids and you love them, bless your heart, okay? I'm happy for you. I'm glad you have children that bring you joy and stuff. Not for me. Personally, not for me, okay? I'm good. More importantly, it has nothing to do with the problem regarding, or like, it has nothing to do with the statement, stay away from children. The statement, stay away from children, or like, don't groom children, is so non-offensive. Obviously, everyone already agrees with it. People are upset about it because it is built on a false pretense that there are, in fact, queer people actively targeting children. And that's just not happening. And the original story has nothing to do with grooming. The original story is about telling kids in elementary school, some kids have 2 moms, some kids have 2 dads, some kids have a mom and dad, and that's okay. Which I think everyone in here agrees. It's okay to tell kids that. If there are any parents in chat, feel free to speak up. I think it's okay to teach kids. I don't think that it's harmful or grooming to tell like a 6 or 7-year-old, some kids have 1 dad and 1 mom, and some kids have 2 moms, and some kids have 2 dads, and all of those are okay. I don't think that that's grooming. I'm going to be honest. In fact, I would even argue that that's good. It's good to tell kids that they shouldn't be rude to their what is it called? Classmates, and they shouldn't bully classmates for having gay parents or whatever. Grooming is when you tell the children things I don't like, you know? I have my first child on the way. I for sure will be telling them that queer people exist and it's normal. Like, we're not talking about like telling kids about like sex. We're not even discussing sex. We're literally just telling them about like, sometimes gay people exist and that's okay. It's okay to be gay, and it's okay to have gay parents. That's it. That's literally it. It's like, so the original Nick Merckx thing, it's like, it's built on garbage. It's like, literally, it's just like, it's a statement that is completely meaningless within the context of what it's responding to. And there's so many people that have no idea, that have never bothered to look at what he was even responding to. So I think everybody countering it and making videos on it and streaming about it or whatever is good, because it's an opportunity to educate people. I mean, there are people who come to this stream who are like juicers, you know? There are people who are through and through juicers that come to this stream frequently. A stream where I feel like I'm pretty vocally like pro Hassan, you know? I'm pretty, you know, I think Hassan is good for the platform, you know? But I also don't think that we need to be like, we need to push people away. I don't think we need to push juicers away. And I think that's good. I think it's good. I think it's actually good to talk about things. And some people might listen and they'll be like, okay, I agree. You know what? I didn't see this perspective before. And now that I've seen this perspective, oh, I get it. It makes sense to me. You know what I mean? All right, we'll go back to the video. And this Potato Head story was crazy. The number of people that thought that they were removing Mr. Potato Head's veiny cock because it was sexist is insane. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. It's like they literally, it was a brand move. It was so that they could better brand their products. Okay. It's the reason that Mr. Potato Head became Potato Head is the same reason that Facebook became Meta. Facebook became Meta because they want to be, well, besides like they want to like, you know, stop associating with all the lawsuits and stuff. They want to be more than just Facebook. You know what I mean? They want to have a brand that encompasses more than just Facebook. They want to own Facebook and own a bunch of other things as well. But they don't want to just be known as just Facebook, right? The metaverse. Oh my God. And it's the same thing with Mr. Potato Head. It's like Mr. Potato Head makes a bunch of other products. They have Mrs. Potato Head. They've got Mr. Potato Head. I'm sure they have other things. I don't know any kids that, well, I don't know any kids, but I also don't know any kids that play with Mr. Potato Head. So I don't know. I don't know enough about this. Maybe people who have kids or are near kids can tell me. But they're just trying to make their brand a little bit more general, right? That's it. Meta this, meta that. When's the last time you met a girl? Anyways. Okay.
Me laugh on these matters. Blessing Stranded also cited FD Signifier's video dissecting the manosphere as an example of preaching to the choir through misunderstanding. That comment section is also full of people who've changed their minds. Parts of this video ripped into me in a way that I did not expect. I felt both called out and understood. Even though I feel that much of my younger, edgier self is behind me, it still haunts me in many ways, and I know self-growth will probably never be complete. I am lucky that I did not end up worse, and am extremely grateful for the work you have put into this video and into your channel as a whole. I'm 54 minutes in, and it's a credit to you and the type of person you are that you were able to approach things from an empathetic but still critical perspective. It can be fun to watch those videos that just slam and mock these people because they're often awful, but it doesn't necessarily help me understand where they come from and how to effectively oppose them. I used to be someone that this video was about. I never made it farther down the rabbit hole, but deprogramming and fixing my thinking still took a while. I think the biggest aspects that contributed to being in that mentality was mental illness, being without friends, and growing up in too wide of a space. Every video I've seen from this channel has been informative, and I'm grateful for the perspective, since there's not enough black folks where I live. So even using Blessing Stranded's own definition of success, these videos haven't failed. Far from it, they have changed minds. And no, not all of the viewers' minds are being changed. Of course not. None of these creators are naive enough to think that that'd be possible. But, you know, with these videos, we are advocating for our politics. And if that process occurs one person at a time, then that's okay. That doesn't mean that all we're doing here is just preaching to a choir. And I think that's, you know, important to keep into account. All right, so just really quickly, I'm going to conclude with some final thoughts. Touching grass is...
Oh my God, study time. Thank you for the raid. Thank you. Hi, welcome raiders. Hi. Oh my God, Kunkin Dassner. Hi. Noah's a good person. I love him. Yeah, we love Noah here. Noah's a good noodle. Other than the mullet, I'll forgive him. I'll forgive him for the mullet. Just this once. Just this once, okay? What are you guys talking about? Honestly, we were just finishing up a video on toxic internet culture. So we're just going to finish that really quickly. But welcome, Raiders. Hi, study time. I hope your stream was good. Hope you had a good time. There are good mullets, but his is yikes. Listen, okay? I feel like there have been too many people being pro mullet, and I need to be the worst version of myself. Okay? We can't bring back mullets. No. 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 I refuse. Men are only allowed to have 2 haircuts. Messy and bald. Okay? Mullet is not one of them.
good. Arguing online can have negative effects to your mental health. I recently visited family, and for that trip, I deleted Twitter and YouTube Studio off my phone, and my body did indeed make
You forgot
contact
fade? Oh, fuck, you're right.
with some grass, and that caused my mental health to do a little bit of this.
Yeah,
But
that's true. Go touch grass, chat. Touch grass immediately. Immediately, chat, okay?
reality is the internet and internet culture, they are here to stay. All sorts of communities have formed online. It has created spaces for entertainment, politics, social issues, whatever else. People will be here online until someone pulls the plug. And yes, we can always improve the ways we go about online discourse. Blessing Stranded's video outlines a number of ways that is possible, especially in his conclusion. But, you know, I don't think those shortcomings should discouraging us from undertaking criticism at all. Far from it, I think it should motivate us at the creator level to be better, fairer, more nuanced, and more empathetic when we're engaging with each other online. Because if we believe in something in a way to, say, improve the world or better understand the harm being done by certain figures online, we should speak up. Even if it's messy, even if it's not perfect, that's what we're here to do, and that's the whole point of being here. And I think it's, you know, it's good for the most part. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you thought of this video. A little bit different, like I said, but would appreciate some feedback. Shout out to my patrons who should be scrolling by right now. If you want to get in the credits of my videos, go to patreon.com/Samsen, SAMSEN, to go sign up for giving me money. All right, everybody, bye.
Anyways, guys, did you know that did you guys know that in Denims stream you're only allowed to have one of two haircuts, otherwise she kills you? Mm-hmm. It's yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah. If you haven't seen this meme, this is very confusing, I'm sure. If you've seen the meme, thank you. Thank you for understanding why this was funny.